imagine that your courses and your content is being pushed to the US and to Canada and to English-speaking nations that are more in line with what we're dealing with here in the US and not actually what's going on in war-torn places. But we're getting off track.
So what's the grift?
Again, my argument for your grift is that things here in the US, it's not a war zone. Ideologically, it's not a war. Online, it may seem like that because the algorithm is pushing to people that it is, because people tend to engage with the content that they hate more than the content that they love.
Things needn't look like a war zone outside for people to start feeling uneasy about the current political climate. Only 2 weeks ago, a man lost his life over his views. I'd say it's pretty scary right now.
If you trigger somebody's fight or flight, and if you trigger that level of cortisol rise in them, they're going to stick around and they're going to consume that content. It's not healthy for them. It results in increased levels of anxiety, in isolation, in depression, in suicidal ideation. It's not good.
Link the study.
That's NIH Library of Medicine. I don't have a laptop.
NIH Library of Medicine, what's it called?
It's, if you look up how the consequences of hate watching, I think is what I ended up looking up to find.
The consequences of hate watching.
That's been a study that they've done to see what the effects on these hateful content watching is doing to people. But also,
let's just make sure that we got this right. I just want to make sure that we get it correct, because I don't want to cite the wrong study. National Library of Medicine, perhaps?
National Library of Medicine, sponsored by the NIH, yes.
Okay. So are you talking about this one that, let's just make sure I got this right here. That way that
says exposure to hate.
Yeah. So this is researchers from NLM and the National Cancer Institute have developed artificial intelligence algorithm to speed up the process of matching. That doesn't sound right.
No, that's not.
You were saying with the hate in online and traditional media, correct?
That may have been it. It would behoove me to have a laptop in front of me.
I'm gonna drop it. Oh, I guess you can't see it, but I thought that's what you were stating too, is the social platforms and the online hate stuff.
That may very well be the study, but again,
okay. I'm gonna drop it.
Let's find out. Hang on.
I'm dropping that backstage.
Yeah,
in case you want that one.
Hang on. Let's pull it up and we'll take a peek here. Let's make sure that we got this right. Exposed to hate in online traditional media, systematic review and meta-analysis of the impact of this exposure on individuals and communities. Does that sound like the study?
It could be. Again, I'm not sure.
Right.
Is anyone else starting to notice a pattern here? I don't think she read the study at all. She maybe skimmed through it or probably heard someone reference it and figured it would be an easy way to sound knowledgeable on the subject. You know that thing where people watch a clip and without any research run with the narrative that's being pushed? That's how I think she consumed the study.
Does it start with the problem? People use social media platforms to chat, search, and share information to express their opinions and connect with others. But these platforms also facilitate the positive of divisive, harmful, and hateful messaging, targeting groups and individuals based on their religion, gender, sexual orientation, political views.
I have read that, but I don't believe that that's what I'm citing.
You don't believe that that's what you're citing?
No, I think that one was based more upon receiving hate, like hate comments and such.
So you came to the debate and you were going to source the evidence, and the evidence that you're sourcing is, I don't know, I can't source the evidence. You don't even remember what the study name is. We have to Google it instead and hope that we hit the right study. Is that what we're supposed to do? We're supposed to shoot. How many of these studies should we read so that we can tell if you're telling the truth about this or not? By the way, I just took a look at that particular study. It was 230 pages. How long did it take you to read this study? Just out of curiosity.
I wasn't clocking it. I don't know. I don't have a timer on when I read things. I don't know. It could have taken me days. It could have taken me a few hours.
Blah, blah, blah. I never lie.
Can you cite for me or at least tell me just off the top of your head, since you read the entire study, what the methodology was for it, and was there a meta-analysis associated with it?
No, I can't.
You can't tell me. So you don't know if there was a meta-analysis, and you don't know what the methodology of the study that you read was.
I didn't memorize the study.
I think I can smell shite.
I'm not asking if you memorized it, but you should off the cuff. There's a whole big portion. The methodology for how studies are conducted is extremely important, especially when you're talking about something which you're talking about here, which is sociology. So sociology says, yeah, that suffers from.
But I'm not going to retain all of that information.
I'm asking you to retain any of it. Can you tell me anything about the methodology? Literally anything. Can you give me anything about the method? One thing about the methodology.
Without it in front of me, no.
Yes, I can definitely smell shite.
I don't have a photographic
so you
memory.
don't remember a single thing about the methodology. You can't. Was it men and women? Do you even remember that?
Yes, it was men and women.
Okay, and then what were the ages?
I don't remember that.
You don't know. Okay, what were and were they postmenopausal? Was that cited? Postmenopausal women?
It very well could have been, but again,
but you don't remember.
I don't have a photographic memory.
That's not a photographic memory. If you're coming to a debate, debate and the crux of your argument is to cite for evidence a study which you supposedly read to prove that guys like me have a negative impact on society based on something other than your personal incredulity, you better damn well at least understand the basic methodology of sociological studies and what the damn thing said.
Of course, if I were a professional debater, that's probably what I would come equipped with.
This is stupid. Why engage in an argument where there's bound to be opposing points of view without being the least bit prepared on the topic or your opponent? That's like stepping into a ring with a pro boxer and then crying foul after you get your teeth knocked out. Being comfortable in ignorance is all too common nowadays.
But my point to you is that I am not.
Maybe you should take my course. If you took my course, you would have come with that information to make sure that you didn't look as bad as you do right this second.
I would argue that if I took your course, I would be no better off than I am right now. Because
based on what? I mean, I think you would. Okay. Look, I'm happy to move on to whatever the next topic is. I'm happy to do it.
Oh, I'm happy to continue trying to answer your question for you.
All right, this is going to be awesome.
Go ahead.
My point. My whole thing is that, again, this is unhealthy for our society, and it's not actually a major issue outside of the online world, but you are posturing it that it is. You are you're fostering this sort of tribe or community where you feel like, or where your audience, I'll say, feels a sort of parasocial relationship with you, and that if you attack and own your opposer, that they've somehow won something. But in reality, it doesn't. They're not any happier. You're not any happier. Nobody's any better off for arguing their ideology in YouTube comments or with their family at Thanksgiving.
Spoken like someone who enjoys the safety of an echo chamber. Here's a dose of reality with a side of why arguing ideologies is a good thing. Aside the reassuring feeling of intellectual superiority, it serves an opportunity to stress test your point of view against other people's. Doing so brings an opportunity to explore and refine ideas and possibly resolve conflict between opposing sides. Claiming that debates and discourse does more bad than good sounds like a cop-out argument someone with a weak argument would make.
It's not a real issue. You're giving a prescription for a problem that you're helping further and cause. It's like this self-sustaining ecosystem. It's you, but it's also people on the other side. It's Destiny, and it's Dean Withers, and it's Hassan Piker, and it's Charlie Kirk, and it's any of them. It's all just money. I've sat in on the Whatever podcast, for example, and I watched them in real time collect over $16,000 from people who just wanted to see these, OnlyFans women that were there get owned. And none of that money is put to any better use. None of the money went into production value. None of the money is used to further whatever ideological cause he had. And I'm sure the same is true for your course or any donations. I'm seeing super chats come in, and they're not going anywhere that's anything of value.
Looks like someone's salty she isn't getting any super chat donations.
You get nothing. Good day, sir.
There's no cost here. You're in your home. I'm in a studio in New York. There's nothing's going back into production. It's all just a money grab. You know that it works algorithmically, and it's lining your pockets. If the world changed tomorrow, if we woke up and suddenly we were in Andrew Wilson's perfect world, what the would you do? What would you do to make money, Andrew? How would you your grift would be done because we'd achieved your goal. But you know that we're never actually going to achieve your goal in our lifetime and in this world. You've set such an impossible standard that you can never actively get there, but you can stoke your followers into thinking that you're so close and we're on the battlefield, we're on the front lines. Just give me a little bit more money. Let me monetize a little bit more and we'll be able to get there. But you never actually will get there. You'll never cross that finish line. So you'll just collect and collect and collect from these poor people who have bought into your like they're part of a super church. It's sad. It is genuinely sad.
Listen, come here. Shut your stupid ass up.
The reason that I responded to that guy on Twitter was because I actually felt bad for him, because he was appealing to you and trying to get you to interact with me and to tear me down a notch. And at the end of the day, you don't give a about that guy. You don't give a about any of your audience outside of them giving you money. And if it's a threat to your grift and to your money, then you'll engage with me and you'll attack me or whoever it is. You'll challenge that because this is challenging your livelihood. But it's not like a real battle.
So
it's not
to make sure I got this right, if I hadn't engaged in this debate with you, that would have been a challenge to my livelihood.
Yeah, because maybe that guy was maybe that guy donates money to you.
Interesting, because before that you said you tried to get my attention multiple times and I didn't see it or didn't engage with you, which is really interesting because it seems like by me not engaging with you, that's no threat to my livelihood at all. And yet somehow you think that you have enough influence to engage with me, or not, by not engaging with me or me not engaging with you, that's somehow going to threaten my livelihood. I think that's an interesting. Well, I'm not misunderstanding. I just let you go on your whole speech, so now it's my turn. The truth is that people like you are just jealous as what's happened is you've had a stream of failed career opportunities. You're not a funny comedian.
That's just awful. How terrible. Oh no.
Comedians themselves and satire is the front line of ideological battles. It always has been. Satire, for instance, in Russia was exactly how in the Soviet Union people were able to fight back against the government. They used satire. Comedians were on the front line of that. Had a long conversation with Dave Smith about this one day and clarified this perspective for him as well. And I put out many tweets about it. Satire itself is a way in which comedians utilize humor in order to attack ideological systems that they don't like. That's what they do. Dave Chappelle does this. Louis C.K. does this. Dave Smith did this. Steven Crowder does this. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. And many of those guys I know and have had many conversations with. You, on the other hand, you want us to believe in this rose-colored view. The rose-colored view being, Andrew, you're trying to set impossible standards. What impossible standards am I trying to set that you think are unachievable in this lifetime? There's many standards which I attack, which I think we can go after immediately and try to. Also, on top of that, inside of this like rose-colored view that you have, you seem to think that I'm trying to grasp some sort of parasocial relationship between myself and my audience. However, the very industry that you're in, which is an industry of comics, how are they any different? Aren't you accusing me of the very same thing that you guys do? The entire idea of why people show up to see Louis C.K. live when they could just watch him on their TV is because they want to meet him, they want to shake his hand, they want to talk to him. Is that parasocial by nature? I don't think so. I think parasocial has a specific meaning, and so does fostering a parasocial relationship. And I think ultimately, you've never proved ever how I'm a grifter, and all you've done so far is use arguments from incredulity and also use blanket assertions with zero evidence. Andrew, what you believe is this. Okay, where's the demonstration that that's what I believe? Well, I just think it is. Well, Andrew, this isn't really what's going on. Okay, where's the evidence that this isn't what's going on? Well, I don't have any. Andrew, I have a study here that shows Smoky Man bad, and so are all the other people who are talking heads and influencers such as yourself who are on ideological front lines. They're all bad too, and I have a study that shows it. Yeah, did you read the study? Well, yeah. Okay, can you tell me anything that's in it? Well, no. And it's like, well, so what am I supposed to believe here? And by the way, it's really funny to me that you, in the most uncharitable way, attack me for talking to you when you're the one who came and attacked me. right? And so I'm willing to air your grievances out in front of, I don't know how many thousands of people are watching right now, right this second, but there's thousands and thousands of them watching right this second. And I'm willing to air your grievances out, willing to let you challenge whatever my worldview is so that we can engage in what that is, because I think that I can maybe change your mind on some things, because that's what I do, and I'm real good at it. But somehow that's still a grift through your rose-colored glasses and this idea that everybody's singing kumbaya. Lady, they're not. That's one. And two, I would like a demonstration of these things past assertion and how you feel. I'd like some actual evidence for any of these claims. I'd actually like to see that. Can you give me that?
It's funny how she confidently accused him of grifting when the whole time her plan was to have an exchange with him to allow her grow her own audience, which in itself is grifting. Find the link to the full debate in the description. Like and subscribe. See you in the next one.